Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to this month's movie night, which is The Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen. I am really sorry for getting to this so late. It is literally the last day of the month. Um, it just got away from me. There was quite a bit that happened this month. There was the entire banking issue that took a lot out of me and a lot of time away from me. There is just other stuff I was planning for and preparing for and everything. Um, but it looks like everything is getting back to normal, and I'm finally able to get to this. Because again, this is two separate movies we're doing for one monthly movie night. And that's going to be insane because that's a lot to sit through in, well, one sitting. Um, but I should be able to do it. Like, I don't know about the second movie. I don't know about Reign of the Supermen, but the first one's about an hour 20. So I should be fine to get these both done still, even though I'm getting started on this a little later than I would have liked. Um, these might be up late tonight, but I'm going to focus on getting them up. I still have some Minecraft recorded that I have to get up too, but I'm going to focus on this because I want to try to get it up before midnight, just so it is up before the end of the month. If it's a little late, I know you guys are okay with that, but still, I am getting to it, and I'm obviously by the time you're seeing this, doesn't really matter. You'll know if it's late or not. Um, but yeah, so Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen. What do I know? Well, I know about about this storyline in the comics. I know about the Death of Superman storyline. Basically, the short of it is that Doomsday comes to Earth. Superman fights Doomsday, but in order to stop Doomsday, Superman goes in. He pushes himself to such a limit that he has to go into this death-like hibernative state for a while. He doesn't actually die. He doesn't actually die, but he gets really freaking close. Um, and during that time, during the time where he's out of commission, these clones of him come into play, and these are the Supermen that come in Reign of the Supermen. Um, and then he has to come back into action in order to set things basically back to normal. Now, I don't know exactly how this version of it's going to go, because this is going in accordance with the DC animated movie universe. The kind of movies that include Teen Titans versus Justice League, and Batman versus Robin, and all of that kind of stuff. It's this continuing narrative within the animated movies. I also know that this is going to be in the same universe as Batman Hush, which I'm not actually sure if that's out yet or not. Um, but that's another one I do want to see in the future. I don't know if I'll react to that one, but yeah. I have seen the Superman Doomsday movie, which is another telling of this storyline. I actually own it. um, so I have seen that one. That's an older version of it. Um, what I'm expecting for this movie is I'm expecting it to be kind of more a upgraded interpretation of this storyline that once again does connect to the greater animated movie universe. I'm expecting amazing animation, as always, from these. I'm expecting great voice acting, great story, great characters, all of that jazz, of course. Um, but yeah, this isn't, I guess you could say, completely blind for me because, again, I do know the story. But this is an interpretation I haven't seen. This is an interpretation that I'm excited for. And I hope ends up being very good. I hope it ends up being a worthy interpretation of this honestly legendary comic book storyline. So we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. Hope that it ends up truly living up to the hype that just generally surrounds it. Um, so let's get this going. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movies. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so Death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen. These were two phenomenal movies. This is one of the most legendary comic book stories of all time. Like, hands down. Right up there with the likes of The Killing Joke. It is that well known. Even people who aren't like big into comics have at least heard of it. Not everyone, obviously. I'm not going to try and say, oh, everyone knows it to some degree. But a lot of people, even if they are not into comic movies and stories, have at least heard of it. It's been adapted multiple times. It was in Batman v Superman, and Justice League is when he returned. It was in the Superman Doomsday movie. So it's not a new story by any means. So when going into this, you have to judge it based on how it's presented here. And I thought it was done very well. It connected excellently to the just expanded DCAU universe, the animated universe. Mentioning of the Titans and everything, and various other parts of it, like the fact that Wonder Woman and Superman used to be together. So there's a lot of connection there. One thing I do want to mention real quick is that the voice actor for G. Gordon Godfrey, I was wondering about that, is Trevor Duvall. He's been in a lot of things I've seen. Some examples would be some specific examples. He was in Little Witch Academia, episode 9, apparently. He was quite a few different characters here and there in Inuyasha, although I don't like the show, so I don't remember too much with that one. But a big one that I do like, that I do remember his character very well in, is Death Note. He was Shuichi Aizawa, a member of the Kira Task Force. He's the one cop who has the afro in the before the time skip, and after the time skip, he's cut his hair shorter and has a beard. Yeah, he was actually a notable character in that. But he's been in various DC animated films. He was in Batman vs. Robin. He was in Justice League Gods and Monsters. He was in Suicide Squad Hell to Pay, Batman and Harley Quinn. So he's not new. He's not new necessarily to doing these kinds of roles, you could say, to doing superhero roles. Although in this, obviously, he was Godfrey. He was also Donovan. It's the same actor who did Donovan, and apparently Snakey Doyle and Mannheim as well. He did a few different characters, but he was definitely doing a Tim Curry impression with his voice for this, probably as a little bit of a tribute to Young Justice. It was probably meant to be that way. And I don't know if it was the director who wanted that to happen or if that was like completely Trevor Duvall's choice. But it's awesome either way. It really sucks that that Tim Curry couldn't be in season 3 of Young Justice. That they had to replace his voice actor. And I kind of wish now that Trevor Duvall had been the replacement and just did this Tim Curry impression. Because you can tell it's not Tim Curry. You can tell. But at the same time, he's doing a fair enough impression to where it's like, it's serviceable. But the way they did it with Young Justice, the voice is just so different. It's so noticeable. It's not like with the voice of, with Mako, the voice of Uncle Iroh in Avatar and Aku in Samurai Jack. When he died and all and had to be replaced in the final season of Avatar, and then when season 5 of Samurai Jack ended up coming around, his understudy sounds very much like him. He does the voice excellently. You can kind of tell at a couple points, but for the most part, he's really close. it's not quite the same here, but at least it would have been serviceable. So yeah, either way, these movies were very good. I like the way Doomsday was portrayed, except for the fact that they kind of kept calling him just this brainless monster who was just like out to kill. Doomsday has never just been a completely mindless beast. Doomsday has a brain. He has the ability to think, he has the ability to plan, he has the ability to learn and to grow. Like, Doomsday, yeah, yes, he's excessively aggressive and just kind of goes for it. But you even saw it in the first movie here, in Death of Superman. You saw him adapting, actively learning, and using that knowledge to be able to defeat Superman. In the end, if he were not able to do that, if he were just a mindless killing machine, it wouldn't have ended the way it did. Superman would have been able to defeat him, to exploit that weakness. It's the fact that he does learn, the fact that he does adapt to his opponents, that caused Superman the issue, that causes Superman to go into that death-like state. So it's like, it's a little annoying to have them constantly hammering that in, even though, again, in the movie, he wasn't shown that way. Yet everyone's saying it as if it were true, and even, like, Martian Manhunter couldn't read his mind. Though, to be fair, I think that part's okay, but I don't like the reasoning they gave. I feel like it would work better, like, if they had gone with, like, oh, he was more like, he had a one-track mind at the time. And maybe, like, they found out as the battle continued, oh, no, he's actually learning. Like, they actually maybe mentioned that. That would have been a little better. These movies focused very heavily on the relationship between Clark and Lois, completely fairly. And I like how it was handled. I like the idea of Clark being very secretive about it. And that's always a big thing in a lot of superhero movies and stuff. It's like, who do you tell? Who do you tell? Are you going to be open about it like Tony Stark in the MCU? Or are you going to try to keep it as hidden as possible to protect the ones you love, like Spider-Man tends to do? So it's always kind of a mixed bag, because in some cases you could see the reason why you would want to be open about it, but you could also see why, no, you should probably keep it a secret. And in this case, I think they handled it well. They questioned that, they questioned basically both sides. They showed that neither side is inherently wrong, but that neither side's inherently right either, and that it kind of depends on the situation and the relationship in and of itself. And that it's not like Clark was telling the world he's Superman. He was just, telling Lois. And then, in the end, he was able to even kind of hide that fact in case anyone else did try to figure it out by having Manhunter pose as Superman while they were, there. So I liked that, how that all was handled. Lex Luthor in this was phenomenal. I forgot the name of the voice actor already. I'm not going to look it up right now, but Lex's voice actor did a great job. Not necessarily the best Lex Luthor I've heard, but he did a great job. The character himself was written super competently. Like, the people writing this movie, this version of the Death of Superman story, really understood Lex Luthor. They really got him down pat. And I like that I like that he wasn't always calm. A lot of portrayals have him that way. He's always calm. He's always like anything that happens, he just handles it in stride. There were some moments in the movies where it showed him like, oh, things are happening around him, but he's just like, nah, yeah, okay. He doesn't like flinch or anything. But then you also see moments where he like throws a fit or gets extremely angry and emotional. I like having a balance to that. I like seeing Luthor get emotional. I like seeing him get angry. I don't like him. I don't like it when they portray him as too, you know, too much of the opposite, too like composed. That's a good word for it. Because if he's too composed all the time, he comes across as almost robotic. Ironically enough, for these movies, um, so that was a point to take into account too. Also, Mercy. Eh, Like, am I forgetting something, or is Mercy supposed to be a robot? Like, Mercy's always been a robot, right? She seemed very human, acted very human, and just, I don't know, just the way she was portrayed in this one. She, like, they didn't even come up with that idea, really. Maybe it's just been a couple different versions I've seen where she's been a robot, but I swear, like, let me look that up real quick. Mercy Graves robot. Da, 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 da. I swear that at least there were like a couple different versions I've seen where she was. Maybe I'm misremembering. Maybe it was someone else. Also, she's voiced by Lisa Edelstein in the DCAU. I didn't realize that. Let me see. Okay, it must have been Young Justice then, because she has a bionic arm in that one, from what I'm reading here. Maybe that's why I thought she was a robot. Oh, apparently she's going to be in the second season of the Titans show. You know, that shitty live action Teen Titans show. Yeah, it looks like that's the only version where she was robotic in any way. Huh. At least that I'm seeing. I swear I thought she was. Oh well. Okay, so that did confuse me, but uh, apparently I was wrong. So let's talk about the different Supermen. So Superboy, let's start with him. His personality is quite different uh, than it was in Young Justice. Because in Young Justice, he's definitely a lot more at the beginning, a lot more aggressive, a lot more like emotionally distant, and even angry. He has a lot of anger issues. And eventually he gets over that, yes, but he's still very serious. In this version, he's almost a lot more like Robin or Wally from Young Justice. He's more like them than he is like the other version of Superboy. He's very silly. He's very goofy. He loves the limelight. He's cracking jokes and making puns and shit. And it gets better as the movie progresses. He gets a lot better with that and starts to take things more seriously, and even starts to understand how terrible Lex is and rebels against him and shit. Which I love that storyline. I love how they handled that. I thought it was paced very well, and I thought they really, really did that very well. It was just weird seeing him like that. The design itself was definitely different as well from Young Justice. A lot less buff, a lot more like a boy, a super boy. Um, I didn't mind it. It very much reminded me of Robin as well, though. um, Cyborg Superman was interesting, the way they had his story going here. Again, I've seen stuff before with with the other Supermen and stuff, but not a lot, and it's been a while, so I don't remember it as well. I don't remember if that's always been how Cyborg Superman is. I'm not going to look up every little thing, right now at least. But yeah, Interesting backstory to him. Interesting how he kind of goes from this good guy to a bad guy when things are revealed that he's working for Darkseid and all. It was an interesting switch up. I guess he had to act as a good guy for a time just to keep up the charade. Then there was Eradicator, the Eradicator Superman. That one was the most confusing to me because at first it's like, okay, he's this just really aggressive Superman. He's really aggressive. He's an anti-hero. He's willing to go too far. What is his deal? And then we find out that he's just a physical hologram that was created to protect Kal-El, the real Superman, while he's in his stasis. But also in that time went out and decided to take the mantle of Superman into his own hands. Okay, but why? Why did he decide to do that? That wasn't in his programming. Honestly, he wasn't supposed to do that, all things considered. Also, I might be wrong, but was he possibly the nanny that's the hologram nanny that Superman had? Or am I just thinking into that too much? I might be wrong about that. But then we had the Man of Steel, who was a character who was pretty well built up throughout the movies. I can't remember the guy's name right now. But he was well built up. We constantly saw him, so he would be considered a main character. And then when he took over the mantle, like at first it's like, okay, we just have a robot, but we also have Cyborg Superman. What's going on here? I legitimately thought it was a robot. I didn't know there was someone in there. And we find out who it is and everything. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I can see that. I can completely see that. I like also how the Justice League was disposed of for the main part of the final battle for the big climax in Return of the Superman, or Reign of the Supermen, rather. I think that was a smart idea. Just not just from the characters, but in terms of the writing. Again, I'm not sure if that was how it is in the original story, the original version. But if so, like, that's a really smart idea. Because if they were all there, it wouldn't have gone as smoothly for Cyborg Superman, obviously, which is why they need to be gotten rid of in the first place. And I like how it ended, not including the post-credits ending, just the ending in general. So yeah, overall, I think these movies were very well handled. I apologize again for getting to them so late this month, but yeah, it was everything that happened, especially with the banking issues because of dominoes. That really set me back. I probably could have gotten to this a couple weeks ago if it weren't for that. But I hope you enjoyed the reaction nonetheless. So for next month, October, there will be no poll. As I've already kind of stated, the next one will be the Halloween special. We're just going to make the Halloween special the monthly movie night, just to make it a little easier. And the movie we're doing is Soul Station. Soul Station is an animated zombie film, and it is the prequel to the movie, the live-action zombie movie, Train to Busan, or Busan, or however it's pronounced. I have not seen Train to Busan yet, but it is on Netflix, and I plan to see that. I plan to watch it before I react to Soul Station. Soul Station will be uploaded on Halloween. I'll probably record it before. In fact, I have to record it before Halloween, simply because Halloween is the first day of Youmacon this year. So I have to record it beforehand. I won't have time to on Halloween. So, yeah, I'll record it before Halloween, and I'll just have it upload on Halloween. Because I can upload it before I leave that day and everything. So that's going to be fun. So we actually do have a set date for that one. But after that, after Soul Station, we will go back to doing polls for the future movie nights. Um, and again, these monthly movie nights, they won't interfere with any other movie reactions we do for like donation rewards and all. Those will just come whenever they come, whenever we can get to them. It's all a separate thing. But yeah, I am very much excited to get to Soul Station. I haven't seen a really good zombie movie since like early last year, I think, is when I saw the last really good one. And I can't even remember what it's called at the moment. It was a really unique one too. Because it had like intelligent zombies, but not in the way like where, oh, we don't want to be a zombie, like the teenage romanticized version of it. No, it's like, oh, we're zombies. We have these legitimate urges, and we're still monsters, but we can comprehend things. I forgot what the movie's called. I think it was a British film. I think it was a British movie that wasn't really big here. It wasn't even well advertised here. Yeah, I don't know the name of it. But I haven't seen a lot of really great zombie movies, honestly. Granted, I'm very critical of horror films in general, but still. So I'm really hoping this one is good, and I'm hoping Train to Busan is good. Both of them have received really good reviews, so at least I've heard good things about them. So yeah. But meanwhile, we're just going to end this here. So tell me what you thought of the death of Superman and Reign of the Supermen down in the comments below. And thank you so much for tuning in.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and thank you so much for tuning in to today's video. If you want to check out any of my social media links and more, please check them out over to the side. And if you have any comments, questions, concerns, please leave those down below. In the meantime, though, thank you so much once again for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.